Yes, yes, it is that time again. It is Wednesday, noon, Eastern time. Of course, time for the High Noon Hemp Show as we say goodbye, finally, to 2020. Goodbye and good riddance. Hopefully, 2021 will be better. We're video on demand, of course, on the Hemptations Beach Facebook page. We're also on the Jedi Hemp YouTube channel and at Hemptations on Twitter. As you see, Frozen Beach there, we were having some technical difficulties as we started to stream. There's
There
some
we are.
majorly
Well,
bad weather coming into the Cincinnati area. That's not going to help at all, I assume. Podcasts, of course, Podbean, Google Play, and iHeart Radio. I'm Joe Clare. I do various shenanigans on the interwebs. He is Beach, high above the Hemptations in Sharonville. Beach, how are things in the world of Hemptations?
seriously glitching over here
Yes.
high above Sharonville. If we make it through the show, I will be amazed.
Hey,
Stay with us. If I glitch and I go away, I'll come back. I promise. But yes, welcome everyone to the final episode of the High Noon Hemp Show in 2020.
long
We
year.
are saying goodbye for sure. It has been a long year. I'm going to close the show with my thoughts on 2020 as well. Not much else going on in Ohio right now, that's for sure. But those will be my closing thoughts for sure. But so let's get right to the product spotlight. Thanks everybody for tuning in to the High Noon Hemp Show this week, whether you're watching live now, watching later, or listening to the podcast. There is Josie letting us know that she exists. Of course, like right on cue. Um, this first one, I mentioned this particular product. I think last week actually. This is the Jack Hare Definitive Collection, and yes, we do. We have one in O'Brienville. We should have one here, and I believe we'll have one in Northside. And so, um, this contains The Emperor Wears No Clothes, one of the greatest books ever written. Grass, um, which is another of Jack's. It's a what is it? A guide to assessing marijuana quality. Oh, okay. I never really looked
Hey,
at that closely. It has the Emperor of Hemp DVR, DVD, I should say, not DVR, uh, and then also an amazing cannabis pop up, which I don't know what that is either. I feel like I might have to get one of these for myself. I'll order some more. Um, but it's not a specific hemp product, but it is the definitive hemp knowledge, I would
indeed.
say. With the Emperor Wears No Clothes, and Jack was the definitive uh, hemp educator as well. And so we do have those in the store. Um, and this next one is also not necessarily an actual hemp product, but it is related to the hemp leaf, and it is also on the coloring book. If you're still quarantined, having to stay home and not going out, looking for something to do, this is what they call an adult coloring book. The adult coloring book thing was like it was a real craze. I'll say a couple years ago, and it's still around. Where there's a lot more adult coloring books. I'm sure it was. I would guess it would have been popular during this whole quarantine thing. Um, but obviously, those are all the motifs are cannabis related in this particular coloring book. Um, I know that I've shown the 3D printed pens, but I didn't. What I didn't realize is we never put out these Hemptations injection molded pens, and so I'm going to get these out to all the stores. They're in the same trim with like a silver, kind of a cobalt, dark cobalty, and then a gold, and but they are in fact engraved. We couldn't engrave. You can't. He couldn't engrave the um, the 3D printed ones, and you can clearly tell a difference. Where the 3D printed ones are like rough, like they've been 3D printed. These are really smooth, injection molded, which is obviously another way that you can make hemp composite material is injection molding. If you don't know what that is, they just put the hemp plastic beads or whatever in the machine, and then it shoots it into a mold that then cools or stays whatever it is. Uh, it is the way to make most plastic things. Most plastic things are, in fact, made through injection molding. So it's good to see products of hemp made with injection molding to know that it can do that. Some of the first hemp stuff that we really saw was 3D printed. Um, but now we're seeing a lot more, I think, injection molded hemp. And will be on the shelves by tomorrow or Friday in all the stores. Um, and the last one is some good old Colorado hemp honey. Tea and honey. It's a pretty popular drink this time of year when you're dealing with colds and
Yeah.
flus and all that. I always recommend a green tea with honey. Any type of throat ailment, any of that. And so these have a little bit of CBD in them. Come in actually four different flavors: ginger snap lemonade, tangerine, and raw relief, which is unflavored. And then they also do a double strength now in just the raw relief. Um, and There you have it. Four from the store on the product spotlight, as I like to say. And the one from my door is my oil burning lamp, actually. And I'm pretty sure I have shown this before on the show. Uh, all I did was take expired hemp oil, food oil. Of course, it's not food oil anymore. It's fuel. Dumped it straight into the wood burning. This is a wood burning lamp that I found at my grandma's house, my grandparents' house when I inherited it. I should say bought it from the estate. Um, and and once again I just put hemp oil right in it, lit the wick, boom. I let it soak in. Obviously, as soon as it was soaked into the wick, I lit it, and it'll burn. The rumor is that Abraham Lincoln read by the oil of a hemp lamp, and when he was growing up in Kentucky, or with his time that he spent in Kentucky, there was always that rumor out there that the lamps he would have been reading by would have been hemp oil, which is highly, highly likely. Kentucky was one of the largest producers, if not the largest producer of industrial hemp back in those days. So it would only make sense that if they had extra seed and they knew to make lamp oil or oil out of it, that they did. It only makes sense. So there is my particular. When the lights go out, the electricity goes out. We show our way with hemp light. It's hemp light. Um, there you have it. Four from the store, one from my door on the product spotlight here on the High Noon Hemp Show.
Indeed.
Da-da-da,
Which brings us
da-da-da.
to the greatest part of the show, the best part of the show. Not that the product spotlight and everything else isn't great, but people really, they clamor, if I may be so
It's my time to
bold
shine.
to use that word, they clamor for the beachwear segment, where hemp and fashion collide. And I ask Beach the most important question of the day: what are you wearing, Beach?
That's right. If you were just waking up, or perhaps you're wondering what to wear to even tomorrow and need some ideas, you're just asking yourself, what are you wearing, Beach? Well, today it's pretty interesting, I suppose. I don't know. It's got my grassroots death. It's called a Team Death Star, but it has like an R2D2 character, so I'm not real sure about that. But I always love their Star Wars themed stuff. Hemp hoodlam jacket, one of my favorites with the blue. As you know, I'm a Kentucky Wildcat fan, not having our best basketball season ever, but
Yeah.
it's okay. It happens. Um, Still support my hemp hoodlam T-shirt as well. My Patagonia cargo pants, and if you look closely, of course, you can see my Green Springs Technology pen in my pocket. Got a pair of Kind hemp socks and the good old Adidas sneakers. A lot of Adidas sneakers. So there you have it. If you were wondering, what are you wearing, Beach? Now you know.
Indeed.
All right, we got a little bit of some interesting news, I suppose, to finish out the 2020. Um, a company called Enact, and it's ANACT. The founder and CEO, they use hemp in their towels, and so I'm gonna have to go check these guys out. I just discovered them, and I believe originally, of course, they were a Kickstarter, but they are now full fledged, up and running. And so apparently they make towels and they use hemp and organic cotton in them. And then she also helped legalize hemp in Florida. Apparently, had did that, so good for her. And she started out, I think, the working kind of doing eco-conscious stuff with prana originally. If you don't know, and I've talked about prana before, prana.com is a great selection of kind of, I would say a little bit higher end um, hemp clothing. They're not cheap, but it's very nice, very stylish stuff. And so good for her. I'll have to check that out. Anact, ANACT, towels. Um, if you need a set of towels, see what you come up with. I've seen, we've seen more companies starting to incorporate hemp in their towels, which again is like a no-brainer. I've had literally the same set of towels for 15 years. I want to say my
Wow.
Fremont hemp towels have to be at least 15 years old. And then I've got some newer ones, some smaller, newer ones that came out. And what's really funny is the smaller, newer ones that I have weren't as tight a weave, as good a weave. They're not breaking down. They look kind of tattered, still work. Um, but my Fremont hemp actually got a hole in it, but it's not gotten any bigger. I don't know how I did it, but I ripped it. But again, it's just hemp is just amazing, especially depending on the weave itself. And I will say it took me a while to actually break the towels in because hemp repels water naturally until it absorbs it. And so when it's dry, it tends to want the water to roll off, which doesn't make for a very good towel. Which they're making out once again. They're working out that weave, getting that right weave for the towels, so they are absorbent as well. So good for them. um, I mentioned a couple weeks ago that the EU over the European Union officially said that CBD was not a narcotic. So this week I saw two articles. One about France is already seeing an increase in CBD stores, um, and there's a company in Germany that just secured like $6 million or part of $6 million for a CBD facility somewhere in Germany. So CBD is about to blow it up in Europe, and it's been there. Italy has been allowing CBD for a while, and I think that some of the countries were allowing some forms of CBD for a while, and then it was kind of a controversy. We kind of went back and forth. This ruling will obviously help where countries in the European Union that can't decide, I suppose, or need some help deciding. And so, yeah, we're definitely going to see 2021 will be the year of European CBD. I am going to predict that right now. In an article, five best bedtime snacks to curb your late night cravings. Number five, smoothie with hemp seeds. They chalk that up to the fact that it delivers magnesium. I'm not sure what that helps, but I was just talking about another study about how hemp oil itself is also good. It's good for a lot of things, including being able to get a good night's sleep because it also helps with inflammation and some other things that may affect your sleep that we've seen. Um, Good Housekeeping magazines, Institute Beauty Lab. They have an Institute Beauty Lab. Good for them. Denur Earl, who has a PhD, benefits of CBD Skin Care. They say it can reduce inflammation, and this is CBD, with positive effects on combating skin inflammation, acne, eczema, tissue scarring, and even melanoma. It may relieve itchy skin, psoriasis, and atopic dermatitis. Um, and so again, I think you mix that CBD with hemp oil, and we know that hemp oil is also beneficial to those things. It can be as well. Um, I know that if I do use too much hemp oil too long, I get acne because my skin becomes oily because I don't necessarily need it. If you have dry skin, it's absolutely great. I don't use it on a regular basis. Um, because eventually I think it does make my skin over oily or over moisturized, I should say. Um, so either way, it's good, great stuff. Shenandoah Valley Hemp LLC is going to invest 3.3 million to establish a industrial hemp fiber processing and CBD oil extraction in the town of Elktown, Elktown, Virginia, and they will purchase all of their hemp for Virginia farmers. So if you're in Virginia thinking about becoming a hemp farmer, get in contact with Shenandoah Valley Hemp LLC and get them to contract your hemp. So, and everybody's advice in 2020 was the same advice that should be in 2021. Make sure you have a source for your product. Don't just grow it to grow it because you can grow it and because it's the popular hottest thing right now. Um, find a source for your product, whatever you're going to grow for. And if not, then be positive and know that you can find a source for it one way or another, depending on what you're growing for. Hopefully, not guaranteeing that. I saw an article, and so I'd like to shout out Heather Jackson. If you don't know who Heather Jackson is, she is the co-founder and the president of Realm of Caring. So Realm of Caring came out of Charlotte's Web. It was her child that was using, found that the Charlotte's Web helped get them off of every medicine that the 18 different medicines I think I read, and just use CBD um, for their seizure disorders or whatnot. Realm of Caring, and I believe it's roc.us is the website. Um, Started with 4 families and now has over 100,000 patients around the
Wow.
world that benefit from it. I have often recommended, if you want to find a source for your ailment and cannabis, go to the Realm of Caring website. They have hundreds of ailments specifically showing you how CBD, THC, all the whole realm of cannabis, all in all. Um, but again, a lot of information on CBD. Uh, you can interact with it, and you can get assistance. If you need help, just trying to figure out what you got to do, and your doctors maybe aren't on board or whatnot. This website is one of, if not the most well researched, and they're not trying to sell you anything there. They're just trying to give you the information to help you with whatever you may need in cannabis. If cannabis can help, again, testimonials, advice, doctors. I'm pretty sure it's all there at the Realm of Caring. So that was started in 2012. Again, that's when the whole CBD thing started to turn the corner for sure. We've been carrying CBD since before that, but the Charlotte's Web is what turned the corner with the reality of CBD benefits um, and producing cannabis with low THC, high CBD. That's when they started in 2012 when they started heading the other direction with cannabis. Up until then, the goal was to get as high THC as you could. After then, the goal for CBD was to get the THC as low as you can. And so, again, showing the true benefits of this natural plant. 2.8 million years old, originated at the uh, Tibetan Plateau. Anyway, last little thing of news here. Vanity Fair and their article called "The No Resolutions Guide to New Year's Wellness." Number 6 was feel good in your body, and number 7 is set the stage for sleep. Both of them included CBD. Obviously, feel good in your body suggested using CBD on topically and internally, as far as in foods and whatnot. And then, of course, the sleep, CBD for sleep, helps hundreds, if not thousands, of our customers. It's one of the main reasons that our customers purchase CBD, and one of the main reasons why people across the country use CBD is um, sleep issues. Uh, for me, and I think most people, what it does is it gives you sleep longevity, lets you sleep a little bit longer, gets a better sleep. Um, when I use CBD, that's what I feel like it does to me. And I don't use it all the time. Like right now, I'm not using it. I can kind of tell. And so I'll go back to using it. It's not that big of an issue. I get plenty of sleep. I'm sure of that. Um, but I can tell the difference when I've used CBD and not used CBD. And I think those people that really need it do get the benefits out of it. Um, and Vanity Fair thinks so as well. So good for them. Um, Again, not a whole lot of events. Uh, January 22nd and 23rd, if it's still on, you have the Midwest iHemp Expo in Lansing, Michigan. January 29th and 31st, the Asian Hemp Summit in Kathmandu. If you want to fly to Kathmandu, Nepal, you can go to the Asian Hemp Summit, which is a pretty big event. May not be this year because of the old COVID, but it was a pretty big event. And then, of course, into March 25th, 27th, you got NOCO in Denver. And I just found this, which is interesting. It's not till May, but it's May 19th through the 20th. And it's the Ohio and Kentucky Cannabis and Hemp Expo at the Duke Energy Convention Center, just recently shown on The Simpsons. The Duke Energy Convention Center was. um, and so that's going to be going on in May. So I'll keep
Hmm.
everybody kind of informed on that one. It was, I think, just announced. And so I don't really know too much about it. But it should look to be quite interesting, I would think, um, going from Ohio and Kentucky. Um, so we'll see. But right here in Cincinnati, Ohio. Um, all right, that's it for events. I don't have any questions this week. Again, I think just, my beach thoughts would be 2020. And my thoughts on 2020, it was probably the weirdest year ever in the history of all years. Business, life, everything. Uh, it did produce all in one year. It produced the hemp mask, and then it produced the copyright for the hemp mask. So you can't call your product a hemp mask unless it's made by a particular company. It can be a mask. It can be a hemp face covering, I believe. But legally, you cannot call your hemp mask a hemp mask, even though
Wow.
we sell hemp masks. Hemp face coverings is what we sell. Yeah, that was all in one year. So the invention of the hemp face covering, and we saw it copyrighted or patented or whatever. I don't know. So that was kind of interesting. I will have to say it was this year also brought us for the composites, and I think I made it quite clear over the years on the show how much I want everything that's made out of plastic. If we can make it out of hemp composite, I want it made out of hemp composite, plastic stuff, plastic. And plastic, of course, is a synthetic material made from oil. So we can't call hemp plastic because it's not plastic. It's a hemp composite. I've seen the numbers say about 60 to 70% of all the plastic in the world could be replaced with hemp plastic. Again, biodegradable, sustainable, all those things. This year, we've picked up hemp toothbrush and hemp tinsels, plastic knife and fork made out of hemp composites. And these are the exact products that I want to see made. Again, we can replace the plasticware, um, which would sit in a landfill for hundreds of years, possibly, with a biodegradable plastic hemp composite ware, so to speak, that is gone in probably 90 days, maybe 120,
Hmm.
depending on maybe I'll do an experiment. I did this years ago. I'll just put the hemp in some dirt, and check on it every once in a while. Put in one of these hemp spoons in the dirt, check on it every once in a while. We'll find out how long it takes. But I believe
Yep.
it's 90, probably 90 to 120 days. It might take the hemp toothbrushes a little bit longer because they're pretty sturdy, but eventually it would completely break down, um, and put everything back into the earth it took. That's why hemp is carbon neutral and possibly carbon negative because it removes carbon as it's growing too. But then also, when it goes back into nature, it's everything that nature should have benefited by will get there. And so again, it's one of the reasons why hemp is so good. So 2020 was a good year for hemp composites. There's no doubt in my mind. We saw a couple companies that are gonna work on hemp fiber in the United States, growing for processing and manufacturing. And so that's huge, in my opinion, for the hemp industries. And to me, that was a 2020 thing. Everybody was growing CBD, and then all of a sudden there was too much CBD, and they're like, okay, well, guess what are the other benefits?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's one of the greatest foods we can eat, and it's one of the greatest fibers that we can use. And so, we see some companies investing in the fiber aspect in 2020, which is great as well. Um, and so, you know, COVID didn't put hemp backwards. I can tell you that. The hemp industry's chugged along. Um, I don't know, and I haven't heard of any of the hemp companies that we deal with going out of business because of COVID. Um, and so that's how strong hemp is. Hemp strong. Um, when it came to, again, you're talking about the economy, you're talking about people's health, and so those things benefited during COVID and helped, um, people get through this. Our CBD sales were high. Again, I think we sold more soap. We sold a little bit more food. Those products, you know, during the real intense part of it, when people didn't want to grocery stores and didn't want to, go to Walmart, then they started realizing the benefits of hemp and all the things that it can make because, yeah, we're talking, once again, soap and shampoo and food products and all those things, which is what made us essential um, during COVID. And so, uh, you know, um, numbers were down, don't get me wrong, but they weren't so far down that you know, I really panicked. I didn't have to panic, thankfully, in 2020. Um, we were only shut down for a couple weeks, maybe, in O'Brienville, North Side, completely shut down. Um, and so, once again, proving how essential hemp was, still is to COVID in the COVID world. Um, and of course, we took all the precautions, and everyone that in the stores that had to get tested because they might have been around someone all came up negative. So, we were doing our part definitely in 2020 to keep this things reduced. And trust me, we saw all kinds of people that didn't realize that a mask on your chin is not how you wear a mask. The guy come in the other day and he had a face mask, but his face mask was like up pointed out. I'm like, hey, come on, people. Anyway, um, um, so yes, 2020 we say goodbye to. We look at all the good things that happened, which was the hemp world chugging along. And we'll take all the bad things to stay safe again. Wasn't, we pretty much didn't celebrate the entire month of 420 this year. We got
Yep.
robbed of 420 because of COVID, but it was a smart thing to do, not to encourage anyone to be going out. I try not to encourage anyone to go out. But once again, single customers don't see as groups of people coming in, really doing their part, coming in, shopping quickly, and getting out. Um, And so, although 2020 was a really weird year, it wasn't the worst year. Well, I don't know that, but I can say that. Not maybe not in modern times, but again, we got through it with the help of everybody, our customers, our employees, the hemp world. Um, we kept chugging and moving forward. Um, Sometimes even when they told us we couldn't. Wink, wink. Because hemp is essential. Hemp is essential.
Indeed.
So, thanks everybody. We will see you in 20 next year. We'll see you next year for the High Noon Hemp Show right here on Twitter, YouTube, Hemptations Beach. Go watch us on YouTube, Jedi Hemp Channel. Listen to the podcast on all the places where you can find the podcast. Um, and we'll see you in 2021. Remember, though, reduce, reuse, recycle. Make everything else out of hemp. Having Hemptations.
See y'all next year.